Hi there guys and welcome back to Symphonic Rain. So first of all, if I blabber nonsense in this video, it's because I'm really tired, so please forgive me. But as a matter of fact, since I started working full-time, my schedule is really even more tight than before and I have less time to do stuff, so please forgive me. Okay, but now to the actual topic about Symphonic Rain, because last episode was actually quite the episode. I already read your comments and it seems we agree on some parts and we disagree on some other parts. Apparently we disagree that this whole breakup of Ari with Chris came out of nowhere. It seems you guys think he had it coming. At least there was one comment like this. Of course I forgot who wrote it, I'm sorry. But I read it and I'll answer you today. And yeah, I can kind of see it. I mean, she put him to the test, that is fair to say. But still at the same time, like, to me tests like these are kind of kindergarten in the first place. To be quite honest with you. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, this is kindergarten to me in the first place. And I don't feel like this is something you should make or break your relationship with, you know? So, you know, I still think that it's a bit sudden and quick, you know, her decision. But that's just my opinion. But what we all agree on is the fact that Chris behaved so fucking stupid. Like, so fucking stupid when he read that he just goes about business as usual. At least it seems like it right now. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where all of this is going. I mean, it's probably going into a relationship with Val. But, yeah, let's see what Chris does here. It was pretty pathetic that I was completely out of breath from such little physical activity. I leaned against the wall to catch my breath. My pulse gradually slowed down, and the fatigue killing my legs began to wane. But on the other hand, my chest began to feel heavy. How would I look Val in the eye after what happened yesterday? A smile wasn't going to work. Having said that, I couldn't be all doom and despair either. The fact that this is his main concern shows that he had no interest at all to keep up the relationship with Ari. Like, let's be honest here, guys. This wouldn't be his concern right now in this case. He's an asshole. It's really simple like that. He is an asshole. Especially considering they're so close to a reunion. I mean, I can understand the sentiment like, I need to check my feelings. I don't know if I'm really more into Ari or if I begin to fall in love with Val. I kinda can understand that to a certain degree at least. But if that is the case, why don't you wait for another month before becoming a total asshole and see Ari? Spend time with her. Maybe remember why it was worth waiting these 3 years. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, let's do this, shall we? Oh no, wait, this isn't the intro anymore. I already started reading. As mentioned, I'm kinda tired. Having said that, I couldn't be all doom and despair either. Yeah, like yesterday I actually fall asleep while being on the PC. That never ever happened to me. Like yesterday I worked until 8 o'clock and I was home at about 9 o'clock and I was so fucking tired. Like, I was so fucking tired, I fell asleep while being on the computer. I mean, it was a great day at work, don't get me wrong. It was actually a really fun day at work. There was some kind of children's party and I gave out drinks to the children. It was really fun. The children were really kind, nice, and all that stuff. I'm not complaining about work, don't get me wrong, but Jesus, it was kind of exhausting working for so long. Val would get concerned and ask what happened. I wasn't sure I could give a proper answer in that case. My feelings were still in too much disarray to be able to tell her the truth. Just like Arietta's, of which she spoke in her letter. No, to be honest, it seems she kind of made up her mind about you. I mean, she didn't say you're a dick, but seemed like being kind of in between the lines, even though she said it was all my fault, or it was all her fault. I was utterly confused and disconcerted. But time moved on, and my obligations wouldn't just disappear into thin air. I took one last deep breath and headed for the practice room. Good morning.
Ohayo.
Val greeted me from her chair, then went back to reading the sheet she was holding. Feeling fortunate that she wouldn't be looking at my face, I set up my fortel and lowered myself behind it. I would probably be able to get my mind off of things if I played for a bit. As though having sensed my desire to start as soon as possible, Val said brightly,
すぐに始める？こっちの用意はもちろんできてるよ。
Good idea. Then let's begin. Oh, wait, really? Ah, come on. Really? Okay, so this time I actually sang along, Val, but Jesus Christ, it was so bad. I can't publish this. I really can't. I even started laughing in between because it was so bad. But I think before this round ends, we will have a version with me singing kinda okayish, and then you get to hear it. Because people demand it. And with people, I mean one person. But since I love you so much, my friend Alexei, at one point you will see it. Our performance ended and I was forcefully thrown back into reality. What I found there was Val's sweet smile.
今日はどうしたの？
I don't know, man, or lady. I'm singing. I'm tired. I feel like I feel... You know that point where you're so tired that you feel like you're on drugs? Or what I imagine drugs being like, because except for alcohol and tobacco, I never consumed any drugs. But this is what I imagine. Like, I don't know. Do you get funny and giggly from weed? I don't know, man. What do you mean?
いや、ちょっといつもと違う気がしたから。
I had an idea as to what she was referring to. I couldn't help but notice this as well as I was performing. I was producing a different sound than I normally would. The tone quality itself hadn't changed. After all, it was the same fortel as always, as was my technique in playing it. But it was as though the emotions in Forney's voice yesterday had now transferred to me. I probably couldn't just pass this off as being nothing to fun. I guess. I gave her some vague reply. I didn't think it would end the topic. But I had nothing else to say. To be fair, you're also never pushy on her, so I guess it is fair that she's not pushy on you.
ならさ、もう一度初めから合わせようか。
Huh?
調子悪くないんでしょ？
This wasn't about the performance being good or bad. It was completely meaningless to grade such a thing. But Val sensed something within my sounds, and apparently interpreted it as being a positive change. And she didn't inquire anymore. Instead, she requested we perform again. It was almost like Forney had done this morning. It was almost like Forney had done this morning. Is that correct English, or am I stupid? Okay, let's do it. Our practice session continued without incident. I accepted and surrendered myself to changes within me, and continued playing. You know what I just realized? I completely forgot to continue Lucid 9. Jesus, I don't even remember when I last played this visual novel. I kinda came to a conclusion with all of my projects. I stopped playing Corpse Party because I lost a ton of footage. I'm going to continue playing Clanat, but not as regular as Symphonic Rain. Same thing with, Jesus Christ, Pocket Mirror. And so, the problem is I don't have a lot of time, and since Symphonic Rain is right now the one that I'm interested in most, I'll do this most. But I also continue Clanat and Pocket Mirror, but I completely forgot about Lucid 9. Jesus. Well, I have to think later about this. I accepted and surrendered myself to the changes within me and continued playing. I obviously hadn't yet come to terms with the situation around it, but at least I could no longer feel anxiety. I am able to learn, for all of you who watch Clanat. I think this is the first time that I said anxiety rightly on the first try. So I expect you to be applauding right in front of your screen right now. No anxiety, anxiety. anxiety or irritation as I was performing. However, it was no justification for keeping this from Val forever. I had to disclose everything to her in the near future. She had a right to know, for one, but I also wanted her to know. What? 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 Why? You know jack shit about her. You have no idea about anything. What right does she have to... My voice, I'm totally manly, you know. She has no right to know anything because she doesn't tell you anything. Makes no sense. Really makes no sense. But no, but let's be real here. It is like, to be honest, that would be like the ultimate slap in the face for Ari. For Chris to tell Val, of all people. This is like, yeah, as I said, a slap in the face. If he would talk about it with Asino, or even Torta, although the talk would be kind of awkward with Torta, let's be real here, but with Asino. But with Val? Like, what the hell? Perhaps I was seeking pity, for perhaps you're looking for a kick in the ass. If you travel with the train northwards, we can meet up in the middle like in Austria. I'm willing to kick your ass there. A self-centered hope that she might accept me instead. While I hated myself for thinking like that, I could only keep pondering the best time to reveal everything. That she might accept me instead. Like her being... replacing Ari, or what is that supposed to mean? Anyway, whatever you're doing right now, Chris, this is like the most asshole-ish thing I can think of. Talk about being a dick. After the practice session yesterday with Val, I had been able to calm down. The sudden letter from Ari that ended our relationship. I hadn't yet written my reply. It didn't go as Ari predicted, but I would no doubt write her something sooner or later.
それじゃあ今日の練習はこれで終わりかな?
Yeah. My moderate exhaustion felt sort of pleasant, and made me want to plop down in bed right after getting home. And then wake up the next morning and immediately start rehearsing like crazy again, until Val had to leave for work. It was the only kind of lifestyle I could imagine having right now.
あのさ、
Huh?
もしよかったらでいいんだけど、
Yes?
今日晩ご飯でも一緒に食べない?
Yeah, sure. I was afraid she would ask me about what was going on with me, but apparently it wasn't that. Apparently... Okay, no, I won't say that. It was dirty, though. Relief came over me, and I replied without thinking. Not that I had a problem with having dinner with her or anything. A smile of relief spread across Val's face.
何があったかは知らないけど、美味しいものでも食べて元気を出していこう。ずいぶん疲れたような顔してるから、少し心配だったんだ。
To be fair, this girl apparently knows my feelings in real life. So what am I supposed to do? Immediately after that, Val sealed her lips again, as though regretting what she had just said. And here I was trying my best to avoid the subject. That was what her eyes told me. She must have realized she had indirectly admitted she knew something was going on, despite having been trying to hide it. Because I didn't want her concern to go unappreciated, I didn't deny it and advanced the conversation. Sorry for making you worry. You're right, I'm not feeling too great right now, so I'm in the mood for some good food.
疲れてる?
Well, we just practiced after all. I can handle a side trip before going home though.
ならさ、また料理作ってあげるよ。明日も食べられるように。
You're coming to my room?
もちろん無理にとは言わないけど。
That's not what I was insinuating. Don't know that word. I simply thought this would be a great opportunity to let Val in on the full story. One wouldn't like normally discuss such matters in a public place like Copert, and I couldn't just intrude into Val's room either. If she came to my room, it would be as good an opportunity as ever. He is aware that Fanny lives with him. Is he? I kinda think he isn't. Okay, now not gonna lie. I feel like Chris... Now the problem is, in visual novels you can often argue... Oh, whoops. That was just me hitting something. Sorry if you heard that. In visual novels you can often make the argument that someone behaves strange because you came to this place in strange ways, you know? Like Chris goes suddenly from dumb to smart or smart to dumb because somewhere you took a turn left where you missed something and then the character changes too sudden and stuff like that, you know? You missed some development because of a wrong decision. But here I basically followed a guide. And I mean, Chris was an asshole, yes. He was indecisive, yes. But I never thought that he'd be like such a douche. And yeah, now you could make the argument though that he made his decision long ago in favor of Fall. And that is just what came out of it now. He lets her in on everything and hopes to, get together with her. I guess you could make the argument, kinda makes sense, so I'll let go on this, but it's still super weird, especially doing it in Forney's presence, who he knows is very fond of Ari. It's not a thing you do. I mean, it's not a thing to let Fall know in the first place either, at least not yet. But hey, I'm just a douchebag in front of a computer. Never mind, will you come?
クリスさんさえ良ければ。もともと私から言い出したことだし。
Thanks. Then let's go. The strong rain that had been falling since yesterday had suddenly subsided to a drizzle. Unlike the last time Fall had come to my room, I hadn't prepared anything beforehand. We decided to drop by some stores along the main street to buy ingredients before going home. I sometimes wonder what kind of mountain this is supposed to be in the back. I mean, they're in North Italy, right? They're in North Italy, right? So, is that the Alps? Or is this like the mountain chain that is separating Italy within? Kind of forgot the name. Was mentioned in the beginning or something like that. At least, kind of vaguely my memory says something like that. But whatever, man, I love mountains. We had made it to the block lined with grocery stores where I often shop myself when I post follow the question. I always buy my stuff around here. Do you know of a better place?
私もここでいつも買うよ。多分この辺りだと一番安いんじゃないかな。
I see. I never put much thought into where I buy things, so I never compared it to other places.
こことあと1箇所あるけど、そっちはちょっとお値段が高めかな。あ、新市街のお店はまた別物だから。
Whoops. As she was talking, Fall examined some vegetables and the like on display at the forest store. Blah. Let's do this again. And the like on display at the store fronts.
でも、私もだいたい毎日ここは使うんだけど、会ったことはないよね。
Fall said, her gaze still fixed on the food articles. Saying always was a bit misleading. It's not like I come here every day.
そうなの?
I tend to come here after school and I sometimes buy whole reserves on the weekends.
こまめに買った方がお得だし、あと夜遅くの閉店間際に行くと値引きしたりしてくれるんだよ。
Is that a thing in Italy? Or in Japan at that, I don't know. I just know it's not a thing in Germany. I can promise you that one. If there is one true stereotype about Germans, it's that they play by rules. By strict rules. I've heard about that, but I've never actually come here at those kinds of times. On the other hand, maybe in big cities it's different. I could imagine that like in Berlin or something, stuff like that happens. But at least not in normal cities or rural areas, you know.
ダメだね。上手に生活していくためには、そういうところから少しずつやっていかないと。
Although I have to say, I'm not against that though. Like, there is so much shit that is thrown away. Wasn't there, I read the other day, or at least a few days ago, that there is a law in Italy that forces supermarkets, etc., to give their not sold food away to charity and stuff like that. So maybe it's really in Italy like that they sell their products for cheap late at night, you know? I think I just saw another side of you I didn't know about. Well, it kind of makes sense. It's kind of established that she doesn't have money at this point.
それってどういう意味？
Just think of it as a compliment that I just talked about you like the pleb you are. I'm Chris. I don't need no girlfriend and I have all the bucks. One needs to live like the Caliph of fake Italy. I should go to bed. I should go to bed.
どうも褒められてる気がしないんだけど。
Don't worry about it. Come on, let's get this over with. I leave everything to you, so go crazy. I handed her my wallet.
あ、これは。
It's the least I can do. But as you will see, there's not much in there. Anyway, that will be your budget.
それは十分だけど、半分はやっぱり。
Far.
何？
I'm really thankful to you for being concerned about me and cooking me dinner. But there's nothing I can do for you in return. So at least let me handle this, okay?
わかった。美味しいの作るから期待しててね。
Will do. Thanks. After that, I kept trailing Fall closely, carrying our gradually increasing luggage. Coming here every day appeared to be no exaggeration, as nearly every store clerk seemed to know her and were eager to engage in conversations with her. I expected her to go as far as to negotiate prices and such, but it seems the clerk made everything cheaper for her themselves. You could probably call her a regular patron. Everyone knew her name, and Fall even replied to everyone by their respective names. I felt as if I'd seen yet another new side of her.
おかえり。遅かったじゃない。
Forney called out to me from afar upon hearing the sound of the door open. I'm home, I said in a small voice so as not to make it appear too unnatural, and handed the towel at the entrance to Fall. Here.
ありがとう。あれ？
Forney said surprisedly from the back of the room. Yeah, it's kind of surprising to be honest, like after 3 days. He's gone. Ha! Well, I've got a new girl in my room. I took my own towel from a drawer in the cabinet, then spoke to Forney while pretending to be tidying up my desk. I'm home. Fall unexpectedly came along. She'll make me dinner again. I have something important to tell her afterward, so I think she'll end up staying until late.
そうなんだ。
It was a spur-of-the-moment thing, sorry. No time to explain.
いいよ別に。邪魔者は消えてようか？
Stupid. You can do what you want. You may listen to it all, or you may disappear. I won't be able to talk to you either way, though. Sorry for that.
謝らないでってば。私は適当に時間でも潰してるから。
Okay, thanks.
タオル、ありがとう。
Kinda weird though that Forney all accepts this. She must be some kind of representation of Ari. Like, she must. This would make no sense. Like, Forney was so strict with him until all this I'll let you do what you want thing happened. And then she suddenly became like, you do whatever you want as well. It's kinda weird. After having dried her uniform and hair, she neatly folded it up to the point that I could no longer tell it had even been used and handed it to me. You're welcome.
ねえ、さっき何か言った？
Huh? Nah, just talking to myself. Don't worry about it.
そう？それならいいんだけど。
So, are you ready to start cooking?
いつでもいいよ。材料費はかなり抑えたけど、この前と同じ。この前よりも美味しいの作るから。
I'm looking forward to it. Is there anything I can help you with?
何も？
Then what about me?
もし暇なら、フォルテールでも弾いて待ってて。
Practice.
違うよ。クリスさんの音を聞いていたいだけ。曲は何でもいいよ。
Okie dokie. So, I'm recording this now the next day, now that I have slept. I hope I'm not as atrocious anymore as I was yesterday. Jesus, I rambled and rambled and rambled, didn't I? I nearly recorded 30 minutes and I didn't get done anything. So let's fix this by getting done a thing. I see.
じゃあ手早く作っちゃうからもう少し待っててね。
She walked into the kitchen while rolling up the sleeves of her uniform. I did as I was told and sat down behind my fortel, wondering what to play for a moment. Something came to mind soon.
何でもいいってさ。
It doesn't matter, huh?
あ、違う。何でもいいってことはあの曲でもいいってことでしょ？
Yeah, I know. Nicely worked in the phrase, gotta say.
もう分かっててわざと意地悪するんだから。
But you're so cute when you get serious. I can't help myself.
いいだ、歌ってあげないよ。
Suit yourself. I'll just play by myself.
やっぱ歌う。
Suit yourself.
クリスさんが作った曲だっけ？そういえばまだ一度しか聴いてなかったね。
Oh, we're already done with the singing, I suppose. Alright. I'm surprised you remember. I raised my voice a bit and replied to Fal.
大抵の曲は忘れないよ。特に印象に残った曲とかはね。
Thanks.
早く。
I know. Unlike when I played by myself or during practice, I was a little nervous. Not to the extent when I played in front of Miss Cordell, though. The only unfortunate thing was that Forney's voice wouldn't be able to reach Fal's ears. Here I go. Oh, so he didn't play yet. Huh? So what was this, sometime later noise? Or maybe he played, I don't know, man. Maybe he played another piece. And now he's playing Forney's. Time seemed to have flown by while playing. Before I knew it, it had become late in the evening. I had played all kinds of tunes I wouldn't normally play during practice, and Fal had sung improvised lyrics along with me. Forney seemed to have been enjoying herself by trying to bring her voice into harmony with Fal's. I've been up on the verge of forgetting that Fal couldn't see Forney a couple of times. Thankfully, Forney would notice and caution me accordingly. And so...
じゃあそろそろ帰らないとね。
Oh, before you leave, I still had something to discuss. It was the most important part of the evening. Oh, here we go.
どうしたの？
Forney held her breath and looked at me. She must have realized what I was about to say. But I already told her she was free to stay if she wanted to, so I just smiled back at her. Do you want to know the answer to your earlier question? About what happened to me?
えっと
Sorry, this isn't about wanting to know or not. I just felt you had a right to know. For some inexplicable reason. Fucking Chris, man.
そう。
She had already gotten up to leave, but sensing this was going to be a long conversation, she lowered herself back down into her chair.
それってアリエッタさんのこと？
Yeah, it does, and for some reason it's also your business, because Chris has a crush on you and doesn't care for his girlfriend anymore. I guess you also played a big part in that. And you did your best for that to happen, to be honest. Like, you're not... I mean, Chris is 75, no more, 80% at fault. But, I mean, she also did her best to woo him, didn't she? At least seemed like it to me. Am I the only one who thinks that?
だってそれしかクリスさんが悩みそうなこと思いつかなかったから。
I mean, do you have friends who cook for you? I don't have friends who cook for me. This is not normal. I at least dare to claim that. That is a good point.
私のせいで もしかしたら
Yeah, basically. No, it's not your fault. Yeah, kinda. You have nothing to do with it.
なら
It's a bit difficult to explain, and you might easily misunderstand a couple of things, or you might actually understand how things are. Both wouldn't be all that
誤
good.
解
What I'm about to tell you isn't anyone's fault, so no, it's mostly your fault.
ちょっと待ってやっぱりそれって
No, it's not like that, really. You may not be completely uninvolved. But the cause of everything was me, and the one that and the one that ended it all was Arietta.
違うその原因だって
There's no point bringing that up now. I was the one who made the decision in the first place. I wanted to tell you this beforehand so you wouldn't misunderstand. This is strictly between Arietta and I. It is nothing you should concern yourself about.
でも
Besides, I interrupted her. What I was about to tell her were ambiguous issues I had yet to fully digest myself. Besides, I didn't say I've broken up with her yet.
え
She'd suggested we break up in her letter. I haven't given her my reply to that yet. I wasn't even sure about whether or not to give her a reply at all, let alone my answer.
ならどうするの
I shook my head, indicating that I could not answer any more questions about it. If I couldn't answer, then why had I brought this up in the first place? Good question. Out of self-interest, or perhaps out of guilt, or perhaps out of the wish she says, "No, Chris, tell her to fuck herself. Let's do hot love on this table." Sorry, the table was the first thing I saw in the background. Either way, it wasn't anything laudable, that's for sure. Yeah, suddenly you become self-aware, huh?
そう
Disappointment spread across Fal's face for a moment, until she finally forced a smile. Yeah, to be honest, Fal, you fell for an indecisive piece of shit. I'd suggest you go for someone else, really. I guess that is probably what happens in the bad end, but we shall see about that.
ならよかったじゃないまだ話し合うことはできるんでしょ私のことは気にしないで全てはクリスさんの思うように
Again, huh?
え
Nah, never mind. That again. I should do as I wish. Was that how she truly felt? No! Even the novel told you. She first looked disappointed when you told her that you didn't break up with Ari. This is like a great sign in front of a yard, which says, "Flea market here." Usually that means flea market here. Her being sad about the fact that you didn't break up usually means she is sad about the fact that you didn't break up. I'm such a simpleton when it comes to human emotions. But even I understand that. Or was she testing me in the same way Ari had? Either way, I wouldn't be getting an answer to that soon. You should have learned by now, though, that you should get an answer soon. Otherwise, you might be all alone. I nodded ambiguously and decided to end the conversation. Actually, you know what? It's probably the best for Chris to be all alone at this point. Like, he needs to make up with himself and with his character and everything that is going on with him. He's such a dipshit. That's all I wanted to tell you. Sorry. In the end, I sort of lost track of what I was really going for in the first place.
話してくれて嬉しかったよクリスさんが悩んでいる原因も知ることができたし正直に答えられないことは答えられないって教えてくれたこともでもどうして急にそんなこと話してくれる気になったのパートナーだからそれとも聞いてくれる誰かが必要だった
Fal, you don't even need to ask him. He won't tell you. Probably neither.
なら
I just felt I had to tell you. Shit. I didn't want to keep hiding it from you. I didn't want you to worry about me.
そっか。
Val seemed to accept my clumsy reasoning without complaint. Yeah, I mean, we all know that ain't true. I took a deep breath to compose myself, thinking a long day had finally come to an end. It was getting really late now. I'll walk you home. As I was about to get up from my chair, it was Val's turn to stop me this time.
待って。
What is it?
私からもクリスさんに一つ話したいことがあるの。
Oh, are we doing the classic I'll tell you a story, you tell me a story? Okay. I lowered myself back into my chair. Which is...
何かあったのっていう質問に対する答え聞きたい？
Yeah, that actually really interests me, so go ahead. It was the exact same question I had posed her just now.
覚えてないの？私がこっちに戻ってきた時のこと。最後にクリスさん、私に聞いたよね。
Ah, yeah, you're right. I'd felt it was something I shouldn't have asked back then, though.
詳しくは聞かなかったでしょ。
No, you didn't.
話してもいいかな。
If you want to, if you feel you can tell me.
じゃあ話すね。あんまりいい話でもないんだけど。
Yeah, I figured. With a touch of self-derision, Val produced a wry smile and started talking.
私は孤児だったの。
I wasn't too shocked to hear that. Yeah, I'm not either. Didn't really think about it, but kinda makes sense. I had considered the possibility a few times. There were a number of facts that supported it. Furthermore, a small 10% of the student body at Piova Music Institute were former orphans like her. There were, of course, many scholarship students exempt from tuition fees in the specialized hotel department. And apparently, it was possible to receive scholarships even in other departments, provided you had an instructor or something similar acting as your guarantor. Whatever that means. Val was, I guess, someone who guarantees for you. Makes sense. Val was probably such a student.
あんまり驚いたって顔しないんだね。
I guess not.
そういうのって
Val chuckled lightly as she mimicked what I'd said to her earlier. Sort of. It was the only reason I could think of for you having to work even in times like these. I mean, she could have poor parents.
まあそうかもね。でもね、学院にも結構いるんだよ。
Whoops, sorry. I've heard about that. I never got acquainted with any, though.
そうそうかもね。で、この前何があったか。
Shit, she speaks so slowly, that's the problem. She makes so long pauses, I think the sentence is over. She averted her face a bit, her eyes roaming about as though she were digging through her memory.
年末は実家に戻ったって言ったでしょ。
Now that you mention it, so what did you mean?
何らかの事情で両親と一緒に暮らせなくなった子供たちを引き取ってくれる、そういう施設があるの知らない？
I think I've heard of them.
そこに戻ってたの。ぜひ一度戻ってきてほしいって。
You were asked.
励みになるから。私たちみたいな孤児にはあまりにも未来が限られてるの。私みたいに誰かに認められ才能を見つけてもらった者だけが幸せになれる。それだけが幸せじゃないことは分かってる。でもそれを夢見ることも私たちには必要だってこと。だから私は久しぶりに顔を出して歌を歌って料理を作ったりして帰ってきたの。
But then why were you so depressed?
私には何もできないから。
Nothing.
私には何もできないのよ。同じ立場にありながら ただ歌うことしかできなくて。
Whoever asks for anything besides that?
え？
Whoever asks for anything besides you singing there, giving the children hope?
それは
Then you did your job, right? I don't know anything about your situation, so this might sound strange coming from someone like me. But you went back for their sake, and sang for their sake. Wouldn't you say you've done more than your part? Val had sunk into silence, searching for an answer, as I added with a smile. Besides, if you excel at the graduation recital, and manage to become a pro, that's going to give all the more hope to them. Val looked at me, surprise coloring her face, then finally regained her smile.
そうね。そのためには頑張らないとね。
Yeah. I gave a powerful nod, and strongly pledged to do so in my mind. And to end the exchange on a lighter note, I jokingly mimicked Val's earlier words. But why did you feel the need to tell me this all of a sudden? Because we're partners? Or did you just want someone to listen to you?
そうね。多分そのどちらでもないよ。
Then why?
ただ知ってほしかったからかな。
Now, if that wasn't some shit of a romance novel, I've never read a romance novel. No, wait, did that make sense in English? In English. Yeah! English! Long live German me. Okay, let's collect my thoughts again and think like a normal human being. So yeah, that was stuff right out of a romance novel. I mean, not bad. Not in a cruel way or in a mean way. I mean, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it makes indeed sense that she was an orphan. And I'm not also not questioning the fact that you would get depressed when you come home to the place you once were, and you realize you can't do all that much about the situation, even though you yourself got into a better position. Right now, you can't do all that much for these other kids who are in this situation right now. I get that. I don't question the motive. I'm just kind of wondering where this is all coming from now. I guess it makes sense. She's really obsessed with getting good and getting into university and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, it just didn't hit me emotionally all that much. I don't know why. Can't put my finger on it, really. But objectively, I have nothing against this. Val had already gotten on her feet, getting ready to leave, so I didn't see what kind of face she was making right then. As I went to get myself ready to walk her home, I noticed Farney sitting on my coat, staring at me as she said,
頑張らないとね。
Yeah. I whispered, inciting Farney to give me a satisfied nod, then disappear. I picked up the coat and walked up to Val, waiting at the front door. We're off, I called out to Farney, not sure whether she was still listening, then opened the door and departed. Okie dokie, so this episode is probably already 40 minutes long or something, so we're gonna end it here. Sorry I didn't make all that much progress in such a long time. Kind of a dipshit.
今日はここまでかな。
So, thank you everybody for watching, come back for the next episode, and I'll see you then. Bye bye!